Every man believes he understands what runs through a woman's mind when the lights go out, when she's finally left alone with her thoughts, when the world grows quiet and no one is pulling on her strength or her attention. He thinks her fantasies are simple, soft, romantic, the kind of love stories you see in movies. He imagines her daydreams are about candlelit dinners, roses scattered across a bed, a man whispering sweet words as if she's the only woman alive. And yes, part of her does love those moments. She smiles when you surprise her with affection. She warms at tenderness. She will never turn down gestures of love. But here's the truth men never see. That's not what burns in her late at night. That's not what leaves her restless in her body. That's not what she hides in the private corners of her mind. What runs through her when she closes her eyes is darker, rawer, far more primal than anything she will ever say out loud. She won't confess it to you. She won't whisper it to her closest friends. She won't write it in her journal, not even in the most private of moments. Because if she told you, if she ever admitted what she really craves, you might never look at her the same way again. And that thought terrifies her. She fears you would think she's not the woman you thought she was. She fears you would mistake her hidden hunger for weakness, or worse, for something shameful. So she buries it, hides it beneath polite smiles and safe words, never allowing it to slip from her lips. But every woman carries this craving inside her, a hunger that scratches beneath the surface, a need that refuses to die no matter how deeply she buries it. It shows up in flashes, moments where her mind drifts, moments where she remembers something small that ignites her body, moments where she can't sleep because the fantasy won't leave her alone. And though the details shift, though the faces change, though the setting may be different each time, the core of it never changes. At the center of her forbidden fantasy is one thing, her dream of losing control. On the outside, she may look like control itself. She's composed, sharp, independent. She carries herself like someone untouchable, someone who doesn't need help, someone who leads her own life without hesitation. Maybe she's the kind of woman who runs a business, or keeps a household together, or commands respect in every room she walks into. She makes decisions, she handles responsibilities, she takes care of people around her. She will look you in the eye and tell you she doesn't need anyone, and she's right. She has proven again and again that she can survive on her own, but survival is not the same as fulfillment. Independence doesn't quiet the longing, because deep in her body, beneath the steel of her mind, what she craves is the opposite of control. Her secret hunger is surrender. While her mind spends the day calculating, solving, leading, her body aches for the chance to stop, to be free of decisions, to be free of responsibility, to stop carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders and finally melt into something stronger than her. Her heart craves the release of being guided, of being consumed, of being pulled out of her head and thrown back into her body. She dreams of a man who can take her there. Not just any man, but a man whose presence is steady enough, certain enough, safe enough for her to finally let go. Because strength is exhausting, independence is heavy, and control, when it never ends, becomes suffocating. That is why she notices confidence. That is why her eyes linger on certainty. That is why she can't help but feel the pull toward the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't hesitate, doesn't beg for approval. Because inside her, the polarity comes alive. Her feminine core responds to masculine certainty. Her craving for release responds to strength that refuses to shake. The more powerful she appears in her daily life, the more intoxicating it is for her to imagine giving it all up. To be undone. To be taken into a place where her thoughts don't matter, where her decisions fade, where her body speaks louder than her mind. This is why her fantasies are never about roses and soft candlelight. Those things are pleasant, safe, and lovely, but they don't ignite her deepest fire. What ignites her is release. What ignites her is being taken out of her endless thinking and thrown into pure feeling. What ignites her is unraveling, being stripped of the mask she wears every day, being consumed by a raw desire that doesn't care about appearances or control. And here's the paradox: the stronger she is in public, the deeper her longing for this in private. The higher the walls she builds around herself, the sweeter it feels to let them crumble in the arms of someone who can handle her storm. But she will never admit this to you. She will never put it into words. She'll keep playing the role of the strong woman, the polite woman, the socially acceptable version of desire. She'll talk about romance because romance is safe. She'll tell you she likes flowers and slow kisses because those don't expose her. They don't reveal how badly she wants to surrender. But her body knows. Her eyes will tell you when they soften in the presence of a man who doesn't hesitate. Her breath will tell you when she feels safe enough to melt. Her silence will tell you when words fail her but craving burns through her. And here is where most men miss it. They think arousal is about technique, about gestures, about saying the right words. They think if they just bring enough flowers, give enough compliments, or follow every instruction, she will feel the fire. But the truth is different. Psychology explains it clearly. Feminine energy doesn't awaken until masculine energy proves it can lead. 85% of women do not feel aroused until this happens, until they encounter a man whose presence, whose calm certainty, whose unwavering authority in himself makes them feel safe enough to finally let go. Without that, she remains in her head. She keeps control. She stays calculating, guarded, always alert. But the moment she feels it, the moment she knows you can handle her, that's when her body opens. That's when desire floods through her. That's when surrender becomes irresistible. It's not about aggression. It's not about dominance for its own sake. It's about the grounded power of a man who knows himself so deeply he doesn't flinch. The man who doesn't hesitate. The man who doesn't need her permission to be who he is. The man who doesn't ask with every glance if he's enough. That is the man her body craves. That is the man who unlocks what she hides from everyone else. Because surrender is not weakness. It is trust. It is the ultimate vulnerability. And a woman cannot surrender unless she knows, beyond doubt, that she is safe, that he can carry her weight, that his strength is not just for himself, but for her as well. Picture it. You're at dinner together. She's dazzling everyone with her wit, commanding the table, in complete control of the moment. To anyone watching, she looks untouchable. But then you lean close, lower your voice so only she can hear, and tell her simply, "We're leaving in 5 minutes. You're coming with me." You don't ask. You don't explain. You don't hesitate. Outwardly, she might roll her eyes, tease you, play as though she's unfazed. But inside she's shaking. Inside her pulse quickens. Inside she is already surrendering, already melting, already pulled out of her endless loop of control and back into the heat of her body. In that moment, you've touched the forbidden dream she hides. You've given her a taste of the one thing she cannot give herself. And here's the dangerous truth. Once you awaken this side of her, once you show her what it feels like to lose control in the arms of strength she trusts, she will never see you the same way again. Every other man will seem smaller. Every hesitant, cautious, polite man will suddenly feel like a child in her eyes. Because you are the one who reached the place no one else could touch. You are the one who gave her the forbidden release her body has been craving in silence. And once she feels it, she will crave it again and again, even if she denies it with words, even if she hides it with laughter, even if she swears it isn't true. When she talks about her ideal man in public, she will keep the mask on. She'll describe him as kind, romantic, safe, thoughtful. She will never say the words that reveal her soul. She will never admit out loud that what she really wants is the man who can take her out of her head and into her body, the man who can strip her of control without stripping her of safety. That's too vulnerable. That's too raw. That's the side she can only show in silence. But her body knows. Her body tells the truth every time. And if you can see it, if you can feel it, if you can embody the grounded certainty that allows her to collapse into your arms without fear, then you will know the secret most men never discover. Because 85% of women don't feel aroused until this happens, not until the moment they meet a man whose presence allows them to surrender, not until the moment control finally slips from their hands and into yours, not until the moment their body realizes it is safe enough to crave. That is the forbidden truth of female desire. Not flowers, not candlelight, but the ecstasy of release, the intoxicating freedom of losing control in the arms of a man who can truly handle her.